An interesting day, to say the least. Got my hair done, obviously. It doesn't look the same as it usually does. But it rained, it's humid, and whatever she did to it kind of went, ugh. Anyway, I want to talk a little bit about Empire Magazine, Empire Online's interview with Rian Johnson. First off, he talked a lot about what he did with TLJ and how he he really he really didn't ruin Luke. He built him up, and I talked about it in the upload. All right, I saw TLJ. It was a deconstruction of Star Wars. It is not an ode to Star Wars. It is not a respectful mythology add-on to the original trilogy or the prequels. It is literally the anti-Lucas, right? Actually, the entire sequel trilogy is, but TLJ really is. I mean, first off, you've got deconstructing Luke, you've got deconstructing Leia. This is what nihilists trained by Frankfurt School professors do. Okay, that's what it is. You deconstruct the hero, you deconstruct the story. And he says he deconstructed it, but then he says he built it up. I don't remember anything being built up. Like, I'll paraphrase what he said. The last images in the movie, that was Luke and the way he was supposed to be, but you killed him. And it was bullshit because he really wasn't there. Okay, I'm like, what the fuck? Okay, I have to say, I'm really just, I just remember seeing a lot of the concept art and thinking that it actually might be good. You know, Kyle Ron showing up on Octu and fighting with Rey on a cliff, and Luke basically turning the Knights of Ren into Swiss cheese. We didn't get that. That would have been cool. Okay, we got bullshit. We got a mocking of the Battle of Hoth. We got, you know, I I'm gonna nitpick the stupid dice. The dice. Oh, and anybody in the chat, hi, how you doing? I don't remember dice being in the original trilogy. I don't remember them being important at all. And he puts those in there, and that's the only thing that reminds you of Han. There's no funeral, there's no memorial. Of course, Leia's dressed in Alderaanian mourning garb, but still, there's nothing there. Okay, it's like, well, fuck you, to the fans. Okay, because we wanted something like that. We wanted the thing I hated most, I think, about the sequel trilogy, and especially The Last Jedi, is the lack of emotion. There's no passion in it. I mean, and that, oh God, and how any woman could get titillated by Adam Driver shirtless, and that was the most awkwardly filmed scene. It was just like, you know, it was just nasty, and he's nasty, and okay, I mean, but Rian Johnson really respected the mythology. No, he didn't. I mean, when George Lucas said he made a very pretty movie, that wasn't, wow, it was great. For George, it was always the story first. Okay. And that's it. And he didn't say, wow, the story was great. I really liked it. He really understood what I was trying to do with. No. That's a backhanded compliment. That's like, little fucking prick, you fucked everything up. That's what that was. Okay, let's go further. So then we get into, and of course, the disrespect for Luke. Okay. The disrespect for even the characters that he created, Rose Tico, Kelly Marie Tran in a brown potato sack. This pretty Vietnamese girl looks like a troll under a bridge, and that's not right, and that's not fair to her. Okay, turning a black man whose character arc would have been really great had he followed what they were supposed to, what should have happened. Hey, just some other guy, and he turned Finn into a step-in fidget. Finn became a racist. Uh, you know, think about it. Think about it. I mean, that whole thing they did to him was racist. And I'm going to tell you something. When the fans are called racists, always go back to the Raylos calling John Boyega all sorts of names, even dropping the N word. And I'm like, we're not the racists, they are. The people who like your movie, they're the ones that are saying it, not us. We don't think you were fair to him. Okay? Look, TLJ was a missed opportunity to fix what J.J. Abrams fucked up. It really, really was. And it made everything worse. And far be it for J.J. Abrams to try to pick up the leavings of Rian Johnson. I mean, you couldn't get two more inept, incompetent directors. Okay? All right. And now, within the Empire magazine, he says, Rian Johnson says, my heart would be broken if I didn't get to do another Star Wars, if I never went back. He wants to do his trilogy, he says. I'm shaking my head going, that's never going to happen. Bob Chapek will say, no. Are you fucking crazy? Okay, that's exactly what's going to happen there. He won't. No. Okay. This is a troll, ladies and gentlemen. This is a troll. Rian Johnson is doing this to get attention for Glass Onion, but it's going out on streaming. It's not going out in theaters. And it's very interesting to me. My question is he doing this because he's retaliating against what John Boyega said? John Boyega basically shit all over the sequels. And now they're digging more into what he said. John Boyega basically saying he had a conversation with Colin Trevorrow, and it was the best conversation he had with anybody concerning Star Wars. Now, I don't like Colin Trevorrow's script. I read it. I thought it was trash. Okay, but the bar is set very low considering the sequel trilogy and what happened to it. Okay, it was probably maybe one step up from The Last Jedi, but Rey isn't a member of the Skywalker family. She's still a nobody, even though she's Han and Leia's maid's daughter or some fucking thing like that. Look, when I looked at that, I'm like, oh my God, you could tell a Brit wrote this. You could tell a class-conscious little British twat wrote this, okay? Because only a British twat would, we could make her like, she was like the daughter of the maid or something. Who are you, Barbara Taylor Bradford? I mean, it's like, what the fuck? I mean, no. I know a lot of people liked it, and I don't, they can like it if they want. I'm not gonna bother them, but for me, that wasn't Star Wars. It wasn't. Okay. And Luke is still dead. Bullshit. I mean, all of that is stuff you could amend and fix. Basically, The Rise of Skywalker was a retaliation, kind of, against The Last Jedi. And yet, it didn't work. And it didn't fix what it was going to fix. It didn't. Period. Okay? Look, Rian Johnson started the Raylo shit. He was the one that gave in to them. Okay? He was the one that... Well, it's not the secret children. It's the maid thing. It's the butler and the servants. And it's like... They had droids doing that. Okay, They're not going to hire servants. I don't can't imagine Han Solo going, yeah, we should get some servants. I mean, it is such a British thing to think of. I'm like, no, no. All right. The whole idea is stupid. Okay, I'm gonna say it, fucking stupid. Okay. But you know, I mean, Rian Johnson cried about not having his trilogy and hoping he gets to make it. He's not gonna get his trilogy. He's a fucking first class troll, and everybody knows it. He's out there talking to Empire Magazine because his stupid TV show, it's not a movie, it's a TV show, okay, is coming out on Netflix, and that's why he did this, and they decided to bring up The Last Jedi. I mean, personally, because of some of the rumors we've heard, I would not doubt that he's terrified that they're thinking about seriously retconning at least that part of the sequel trilogy. Okay, if not all, I think they're. Look, you can't retcon the last two movies. You have to retcon it all, because TFA was like the gateway drug to bullshit. Okay, I don't care who's in it. I feel bad for any actor that had to be part of it. John Boyega saying it was the only Star Wars experience he really enjoyed. But what they did to Han Solo and Leia and not having Luke be part of it was just, and to me, the sequel trilogy, hey Cross Element, the sequel trilogy to me is a giant sin of missed opportunity. And everybody, the suits, the directors, the president of the company, the writers are all going to have to answer for it. Okay? Hey Cross, how you doing? And I'm like, it is. It was the worst case of missed opportunity in film I have ever seen in my life. Okay? And that's true. Well, my thing is, do what may be happening in Ahsoka and do the World Between Worlds and get rid of it. Fucking just look, if you're a weirdo and a Raylo and you want to beat off to Adam Driver, there it is. But it's not canon anymore. Okay? And it's very interesting to me. Anybody who comes up and says, when Rian Johnson says he wants to direct another trilogy, a trilogy for Star Wars, the comments are all fuck no, keep them away. In fact, most of the comments I've seen on the sequel trilogy and TLJ are negative. Okay, so if they're trying to drum up some support, it's gone. It's been 5 years. And those people that liked it, they're, off in Frost Cuckoo Land. They're off, dining out on the Sandman or, doing whatever. They're not interested anymore. Okay, and what they're left with are people like me and you and others who are like, no. I mean, I would think the Raylos would be all like, oh, yay. I don't see any. They're none. And they loved Ryan. All right, so, if he's trying to drum up some support, it's not working. Twitter, look, I'm going to say this once, and I'll say it again. Susan Arnold and Bob Chapek don't have Twitter accounts. Why? Because they know Twitter is bullshit. And when Elon Musk is done with them, he is going to set it on fire. I've said this before, I'll say this again. I predict that we're going to wake up someday and there will be no Twitter. And all these people who've used Twitter to try to manipulate the public opinion are going to be devastated and lost. Okay. I mean, look, you even got Variety, no Vanity Fair, talking about the trouble they're in. I mean, Elon, he's, I predict he still ends up owning it, but for a fraction of what he was going to pay for it. Okay. And it is not going to be, it had all that promise. And then the SJW showed up and infested not only the roles of the subscribers, and it infested the company itself. And this is why it's where it is. Okay. So if Rian Johnson is trying to muster Twitter or Reddit, good luck, dude. It ain't working anymore. Okay. You know, so my thing is when he talks about, I mean, to me, when he talked about the mythology and all that, I'm like, but you're a nihilist. He's a nihilist. JJ's a nihilist. The Luke's hopeful, optimistic outlook was anathema to them. Okay, they didn't understand what to do with them. Okay, the fact that Han and Leia could actually go beyond, you know, I mean, look, when you're watching Return of the Jedi, you're sitting there, you know, I'm drinking a glass of wine right now. I don't remember them going back to fighting like they did in Empire Strikes Back. All right. And yet these people are such poor writers. They think that's what people wanted. They think that was part of the relationship that should grow. You know, they were beyond that kind of after they landed at Bespin. I mean, Han didn't trust Lando, and Leia was very nervous. There's a little debate, but it's not like the knockdown, drag out screaming fits they had. Okay? And we're right back at it. And it's like I look at this and going, did you people watch Return of the Jedi? Do you understand how characters keep growing? That this, I mean, it's like, I'm like, what the fuck? And yeah, and it doesn't look better. And if they said, well, we're trying to update it, Star Wars doesn't need updating. It's timeless. It is timeless. Okay, but I want to bring something up. All right, do you guys remember? Put a one in the chat. What Tala said about the Force-sensitive children. What she said and why she left the Empire. Put a one in the chat. Do you guys remember? Hey, Star Wars Theology. Do you guys remember what she said? What does that retcon? Hey, Deborah. Yes, they were. What does that retcon from TLJ? Democratizing the Force. Anybody can be a Jedi. That was the message of TLJ and the rise of Shitwalker. Okay. It basically brings Star Wars back to where it was. Okay. You know, my philosophy is, and I think George would agree with me, that everybody's born with a certain gift. And what we're talking about, the Force loves everybody. But some people are bestowed gifts that other people aren't. They're bestowed other gifts, okay? And I'm looking at this going, they're retconning TLJ right here. That was a retcon. That was a big retcon. And when I heard people bitching about Kenobi, I'm like, you guys don't understand. That's a retcon of TLJ, at least part of it. There's no reason for the Empire to run around murdering Force-sensitive children if anybody can be a Jedi. If anybody can find the Force inside of them. That's not what was going on. They were looking for little Anakins and Lukes and Leias and all the rest of those kids. All right? The Cal Kestuses. All right? Think about it. Okay? That's what that was all about. Oh, yeah, and you're right, Cross. Think about what you're talking about with Solo. I think Jaina Solo says in the last book she shows up with the EU, she says, "You do realize that my father's force sensitive." All right. I really think that when I thought about that, I thought, you could be on the cusp. Okay. Or there could be something that's extraordinary that shows up. Okay. But it doesn't make you a Jedi. All right. And really, even if Han was, I don't think he'd ever want to be a Jedi because that just wouldn't be his bag. I'm like, no. He was too much of a free spirit and too much of his own guy. And, there you go. Okay. But it's really interesting to me when I look and see what Johnson said. And if you've read the Empire magazine, I did put a link to it in the description. It's a troll. It's an absolute troll. He talks about how the mythology is ingrained in our culture, and then he did the opposite of what it was. No, he wouldn't want that life. You're right, Deborah. And you know what I'm saying? I read it and I'm like, look, with the stuff going on at Disney right now, there aren't any movies up for Star Wars, even if Taika Waititi gets talked about a lot, and even if Rogue Squadron gets talked a lot about, there just aren't any on the slate. I mean, there's nothing for Lucasfilm as feature film-wise at all, except for Indiana Jones 5. Okay. And I gotta say this. When Doomy talks about the rumors about Kennedy trashing it and all that, no. There's a reason why stuff is not talked about on live. Because it's bullshit. It's absolute fucking bullshit. Harrison Ford would never let that happen. And I've been told by people that it's not gonna happen. Oh, he did another video about it, Cross. I went after him. I said, look, these are the same rumors from last summer, okay? The rumors show up in the Daily Mail, and then suddenly Kennedy's whole life is gone off of IMDb. All of it. She loses the Children of Blood and Bone to Paramount. She loses all kinds of stuff. The Acolyte keeps getting pushed back. We might get an announcement of when it starts filming. For sure one at D23. I don't know. There's a rumor out there that one of the things that she's getting as she walks out the door is one season of a streaming show. She gets one. And I'm sure that, look, even if Dave and John took over Kenobi, and they did, her name being on that show doomed it. Okay. It's all optics. People right now are very interested in optics. Okay. And I can't convince stubborn jackasses to watch Kenobi because her name is on it. All right. I don't let her trigger me anymore because I know she's out. Oh, look, just some other guy. Apparently, another source got a hold of him and said they read the script. Just recently, go look on his videos. I'm like, oh God, Doomcock. When did they read the script? Do people understand that scripts change every day? They get rewritten as the movie's going on. Scenes get replayed out. My favorite thing, though, is when my buddy WDW Pro took a behind the scenes photograph of Phoebe Waller-Bridge and Harrison Ford after it looks like they parachuted out, and then talked about Indy being dead. And Harry, of course, looks kind of dazed because that's the acting that's going on there. I'm like, give me a fucking break. Look, that is manipulative. Stop doing that. Okay, tell the truth. All right, don't become the mainstream media. Put a picture like that out there, and of course, people are gonna read into it. And you're right. I mean, I don't think somebody is gonna leave the script around for some doofus to pick it up and read it. Okay, and that's exactly what the guy said apparently. And we all have to run with it now. I'm like, this isn't. Yeah, and they have to change every week. And the reason why is because there's people like our friends who hear a rumor and they'll run with it. And if it's any part of the script, they've spoiled it. Okay? It's like, stop it. Just stop it. Okay? We have to be smarter than this. Okay? This is, all right. If Deborah's still here, I hope she is. This is what I do. Okay? This is what I do. I look at what the news actually has said. Peter Rice got fired. Kathleen Kennedy's little ideas, the rumors showed up a year ago now in the Daily Mail. Suddenly, she's only got Indiana Jones on her slate and maybe The Acolyte. That's it. Okay. It's weird. Peter Rice gets fired. The numbers for Kenobi, and I blame Kathy because her name was on it, show up, and they're not good. And I'm gonna, this is something we don't know, but I'm pretty sure since Rice got fired so summarily and like cutthroat that it was already out within the company at Disney, Lucasfilm, Pixar, and Marvel that Chapek was getting his contract renewed. She went on a 40-day vacation with her husband. They went to Portugal, where they were drinking port, and they went to Ibiza, Spain. Then they went to Mallorca. Then they went back to Spain. Then they spent a few days in Provence drinking rosé, because it's rosé season in Provence, and that's where those grapes are grown. Then they went to London, and then they spent a week or so in Cornwall marching around hiking. What is wrong with this picture? 40 days. 40 effing days. So let's go further, okay? Bob Chapek is announced having his contract renewed. Okay. No sight of Kennedy beyond some old interviews and stuff. That's it. Okay. Now we got Rian Johnson trolling for The Last Jedi. What's going on here? These are the things we know. And these are the things we should concentrate on, not some, I saw the script, it was laying there, so I just picked it up and read it. Right. Sure you did. And my dog is Albert Einstein. No, you didn't. And no, you... Anyway, but these are the things that we have to remember, okay? When I watched Star Wars Celebration and I was watching her, she didn't want to be there. It's her last celebration, as far as I could tell. When Harrison Ford walked out from the opposite side of the stage, and he did say some complimentary things about her, but she interrupted him, and he gave her that look, the dad look. And it's like, yeah, don't interrupt me, Kathy. He was trying to talk to John Williams. And I'm like, It's not her movie, it's his. That's why he went out there. It's his movie. Okay. And that's why it was even made. Oh, yes, it did. It did. And in fact, I'm going to say this, and I know that Deborah's heard me say this before, but here's the thing. Well, the live action shows from the cartoons are just stupid. They're just, why do them? Anyway, Harry got hurt, what was it, in June of last year? Hurt his shoulder. He's walking around a few days later with his arm in a sling. A week later, he's riding around on those cobblestone streets on his bicycle. 79-year-old guy, 78-year-old guy riding around, not hurt at all. Okay. I think he slow rolled at the injury. And as they were picking up and filming again, those idiotic rumors came out. And I'm going to say this because it came out in a major newspaper, a major rag in London, that Bob Chapek was the one that drew it. Chapek or Harrison or both of them put it out there. Okay, that's the only reason why. So I think he took the movie away from her. Now he's produced other things, so he's experienced, and it's not her movie. It's his. All right, it's his movie, and I think that her husband is probably more. Well, just saying the fairy god, they, whatever that was enough to gag a maggot. Okay, I don't, but I think that I think Frank Marshall said, "Honey, you fucked up." Okay, now when they wrapped principal photography, Marshall went to be there at the end. I don't think Kathy was with him. I didn't see any pictures of her, but he very rarely takes pictures of her. And it's very interesting to me. It's just one of those things where I'm like, so she could have been, but I didn't see her. Okay. And all I did was take a picture of the Indiana Jones 5 hat sitting there, and he took a picture of it, and that was it. But she wasn't there. She was there the first week they filmed, and that was it. Then she was gone. Okay. The woman's almost 70 years old anyway. She might be 70 now. All right. And I don't think she wants to do this anymore. Look, she might be a good producer, but she's not a good head of a studio. Maybe she found that out. All right, she doesn't have the brass ovaries to look at Bob Iger and saying, no, that's not good for the movie. We need to do this. All right. She's not that smart. And she's not that gutsy. She's a chicken shit, to be honest. I mean, well, yeah, she was. And she got lucky with TFA. TFA was a terrible movie. But after how many years of not having any Star Wars and seeing Chewie, we're home, everybody flocked. And then walked out and got punched and got gut punched. I mean, they don't. Look, Lucasfilm needs to be gutted. It needs to be cleaned out. The story group has to go. All these writers. All right, for Debbie, did you see the latest novel, The Princess and the Scoundrel? I did a video on it. I found it at Target. So I opened it up and looked at it and took a couple of pictures of the pages. Let's see. They are on Endor. Leia somehow gets this silk dress to wear for the wedding. And as her hair looked like she went to a salon to do it. I'm like, Boy, those Ewoks must be really talented. And meanwhile, there's a garrison of Imperial stormtroopers on the other side of the moon. But we're going to do a wedding, okay? And it's not like the Empire just disappeared once Palpatine was dead. They didn't just go away. It's like, so they go on the galactic cruiser for their honeymoon. Leia apparently has the ship reverse course or detour so she could talk to this leader of this prime minister of this moon colony or something. And Han is pissed at her, so they're fighting. Anybody see the problems here? Anybody realize how stupid that sounds? The whole premise is stupid. The whole premise. Okay? Endor is not the place to get married. It's too soon. And I'm not saying too soon for them. It's too soon after the battle. We've got other things to fix before we think about that stuff. Where'd you get the dress? How'd you get her hair done? Where the heck did the Galactic Star Cruiser show up at Endor saying, hey, you guys want to you guys got hitched? Here, come on. Here's your honeymoon. Okay. It's so stupid. And it's like, and I'll tell you something else. It's cynical. It's horribly nihilistic and cynical. Because you don't do a book like this and then destroy their relationship. It's this fucking disgusting. You know? Heck, I was watching a conversation in another chat, and a friend of mine basically went off on Sylvester Stallone is getting divorced from his wife of 20 years, Jennifer Flavin, or 30 years. And it's like, she's like, why? And, there are some people that are just cynical assholes. And I'm like, I agree. And I come from that, what the fuck? A place, okay? And, so when I'm looking at this book, it's like you still fuck them over. You still ruin them. I mean, they get into an argument. They're on their honeymoon. Han buys her a ring at the gift store on the ship. Nothing in this is Star Wars. It is not the romance that we grew up with. And it sure as hell isn't well written. I mean, Leia asking for the cruiser to pull over so she can... It's like that is the most unaware, self-centered, narcissistic fucking thing anybody could do. Okay, but I'm going to tell you something. The woman who wrote it is part of the story group, and while she doesn't have pronouns in her bio, you can bet your sweet bippy she's a self-centered, narcissistic, she's massively obese cow who runs people over daily in her life. And, she would do that. No, she wouldn't do that. It's asinine. And, but this is the problem. And Rian Johnson here is just part of that problem. The solution is to get rid of all of it. Put it all away. Just they need a massive house cleaning there. And I do think when Kennedy goes, it's going to happen. Because I'm going to tell you something. Whoever takes over Lucasfilm is not going to put up with their shit. Okay? They're just not. And look, Pablo Hidalgo can talk about how much he loves Star Wars. He'll go to do something else. He doesn't give a shit. These people don't care. You don't ruin something you love. You don't attack your customers. I mean, that's what Rian Johnson did. Your Snoke theory sucks. And then tweets after TLJ came out of a huge fat guy in diapers calling the fans man babies. He put that out there. I have the receipts. He did. Okay, see the problem here? This is a big problem. And I'm going to say this and then I got to go. I really do believe in my heart of hearts that something is going on. That, I mean, I'm probably wrong, all right? But I've always thought, after watching Kennedy at Star Wars Celebration and this long drawn out vacation, that they're going to announce her leaving between now and the end of October. That's what I think. And it's going to be after Indy 5. Maybe we'll get a teaser at D23. I don't know. But I do have to admit, I'm very, very, very interested in seeing what the next few months come out. Anyway, I gotta go. And thanks to all of you for stopping by. Please remember to leave a like. Hit the thumbs up and put a comment in and let me know what you think. We're in for some interesting times, guys. And I think they're going to be fun, interesting times. Steph, sending out. I'll see you around the galaxy.